All right, I am set up for audio in my new recording location, semi-temporary recording location. I'm going to check the audio on this one. It may, after it goes up and I'll listen to it on YouTube. This may be a bit echoey because the room's kind of empty, but doing my best. Not quite ready for video yet. The lighting still kind of sucks. There's too much overhead light. So working on it, working on it. But my Twitter DMs absolutely exploded about this story. People wanting to know what I think. And I started explaining it to someone and then said, this might make a good video. And basically, the concern around some people was, does the sudden closing of Telltale Games mean that episodic games, the form of gameplay that is episodic games, is somehow in trouble? And I think no. And it was funny because before I did any research, I said to the guy that asked me about it, I said, I don't think it's anything unique to episodic games. I suspect that there was something about Telltale's financial model that was a problem. And lo and behold, it was the financial model that was the problem. It was not the quality of the games. It was not the success of the games. Think what you want about episodic games. Personally, I think Telltale Games have been varied in quality, but the first season, they call it the season of The Walking Dead, was absolutely fantastic. Lee and Clementine all the way. It was wonderful. They've made some very good games. But Telltale also, just by making sort of interactive stories of television properties and referring to them as seasons, they were playing a very dangerous game, in my opinion. And that dangerous game was what eventually led to their funding model going kablooey, in my opinion. And if you like this sort of analysis, this type of analysis from me, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. It helps me out a lot, especially in times like this where I suddenly have to spend a lot of monies to keep going while pandemonium rules my life. Yeah, they were getting into bed, Telltale Games was, with a lot of linear media companies. Now, some would say that services like Netflix kind of straddle conventional television and then sort of new media or whatever. It's kind of tech, it's kind of TV, but Netflix is still mostly something you watch, not something you interact with. The Walking Dead show, the Stranger Things adaptation they were talking about. These are all things they did. Batman, which, you know, for most people is mostly known for the movies, even though I think that that Arkham Asylum was a better Batman movie than any of the Batman movies that have ever been made, and I could play it, which awesome. They mostly do adaptations of linear stuff. And their money came from film companies, notably Lionsgate. And this, I think, was crazy. And financing, doing the venture capital thing, it is not for the faint of heart. It is screwy. I'm sure they took what they could get, but the idea that nobody in tech was funding Telltale Games, they were being funded by the movie companies and media companies, is precisely why I think they went bluey. Movie financing is notoriously fickle, whereas why most movies have funding from a large variety of sources. They never put all their eggs in one basket because things fall apart and people pull out with alarming regularity. Now, the other thing about being a video game company funded by movies is a movie company or film financer, is that the movies linear media, television, film, that kind of stuff, sees video games as competition. In some corners, they are even afraid of it. They don't like it. They don't understand it. They can't make it to save their life. They see all this money coming in. They see that when a major game like, a Destiny or something like that, a Destiny expansion comes out, they do see sort of a dip at the box office. The Halo effect, it was originally called, but it's now expanded to other games. Obviously, movie companies don't like that because it affects their bottom line. And the conspiracy minded among us, excuse me, I'm today, but could claim that this is precisely what a movie company would do. They'd build up a video game studio only to yank the funding and have it explode or implode in spectacular fashion. Oh, look, games still aren't there yet. Movies are still king. And I'm not saying that's what Lionsgate did. I'm just saying that this should be a cautionary tale to game studios. Take money from Hollywood at your own peril. They do not love you. They do not understand you. And yes, no venture capitalist loves. They are inherently soulless beings. Joking. But at least in tech, at least venture capitalists who put their money behind tech, they understand what it takes to make something interactive, something that people use instead of something that people watch. And I think that's very important when it comes to the backing of this stuff. It's freaking criminal that Telltale couldn't get more funding. Now, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They could have way overextended themselves. They could have way over leveraged. Episodic gaming is a double-edged sword. I've backed a few on Kickstarter that will remain nameless for now, but it's like the first installment came out or the first and second installment came out, and then there was this huge lull. There was this huge gap with future installments, and that's the price they pay for sort of funding as they go. You put out the first game to make some money to make subsequent games. I personally don't know how beneficial that is. I know it was super trendy for a while, but you still have to do all that front end stuff like character design and like your style guide and all your assets, and all that stuff has to get built, whether you're making a game in one big chunk or 4 smaller chunks. But, your later game stuff, when you're actually building the game and actually making it happen instead of, conceptualizing it. Yeah, that's when a lot of companies run out of money, and that's precisely when episodic games get this infusion of cash based on their first installment. Now, getting people to buy the games as they go is a bit of a challenge. And I realized this about my own buying behavior. I did that where I was like, oh, the first game's out, I'm going to buy it. And then the second's out, and I'm going to buy it. And gradually it became harder and harder to know when the next one was out, and the hype kind of died. And so they're not making as much from me as a person who at the end goes, I'm just going to buy the complete season and play it all in one binge, which is what I ended up doing. I ended up waiting until it was all done and playing in one binge, which, of course, completely defeats the purpose of making an episodic game. And this is the inherent flaw, the inherent problem right now with the episodic model. More and more people aren't supporting the games as they go. They're waiting until it's done because, like me, you don't want to get halfway in it. The way I play games, I want to just immerse myself in a story. And other people may be like, oh no, I like the small bits. But I don't, because I like to get in it, and I like the controls to feel intuitive, and I like to submerge myself in a game and, just blow a weekend and just wallow in it. And you can't do that in these little tiny experiences. So maybe long term, because gamers are much more, no, I'm going to play my way, you're not going to tell me how to play, than, the average bear, the episodic format long term may actually be doomed. I don't think we can say that with certainty yet. That's all I'm saying. So what I do think is that it's too bad that Telltale got down to a single source of revenue. So when the bottom fell out there, it was catastrophic. There's got to be something that can be done on the financial end to prevent this fate from happening to other studios. This is an inherent flaw in the revenue model that has nothing to do with the quality of the games they make. And so it's a hole in the video game development process that some person who's much smarter with finances than me can plug. And that's what I think we should take from the Telltale closure. Now, apparently, they're still going to somehow finish the Walking Dead games, and the Stranger Things game might still happen. I don't know. I think that Stranger Things one is iffy, although if Devolver Digital did get it, I would be super excited by that. I think they are a really good studio for that, because I'd love to see them make a Stranger Things game like an 80s game. Not like a modern game, like an 80s game. That would be super freaking cool. Could you imagine like a 4-player beat 'em up Stranger Things game? That would be awesome. That's more 90s, but you know what I'm saying? Or even a little top-down pixel game like that old super cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, that's a beat 'em up too, but that one where you're like exploring the sewers, or that Ghostbuster game, the Sega version, not the Nintendo version, the graphics are better. But like stuff like that, that'd be freaking awesome. A Stranger Things game like that, I would play the crap out of that. If they could make like the Upside Down, is that what it's called, or something like that? The scary place. Could you imagine if there was like an homage to Wizard of War, and I was like, that crazy scary voice, and the thing comes after you, and like Seven's got to be all cool, and yeah, stuff like that. That could be really cool. There could be a lot of interesting game mechanics based on the fact that she's kick-ass and the boys are decidedly not. They're not as powerful as her. So here I am talking about being excited about this, about a game that may never happen. But that's cool because it's interactive. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Hope you'll like it. As usual, leave a comment. And I will try very hard to do Feedback Friday, but another round of chaos may be approaching on Thursday, so that might not be possible. I will see. Okay, I will do my absolute best, but also I want to try to get the final lady bits done for next Wednesday, and it's very close. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, so I really got to knuckle down. Okay? Thanks for watching.